Hi, educators. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Anna Sawyer, and I am one of the co founders of Educators First. And today, what I wanted to jump on and talk about is transitioning from home to work and vice versa. As we start to enter into the new school year, this is something that we really need to focus on in order to keep ourselves balanced between our work life and home life and to kind of keep the two things separated. So, when we're talking about going into work, or even going home from work, one thing that I don't recommend is talking on the phone. And the reason I don't necessarily recommend that most of the time is because far often than not, we end up getting into a conversation that might be a little stressful, or that 5 minute conversation that was just, some quick details to share with somebody, all of a sudden becomes a bigger issue. And even if it's not a big issue, your mind's in a different place and it could throw you off already. So the same like when you're going home from work and we're already elevated, right, from the day. And then let's say you have half an hour ride home and you go to call somebody really quick, even if it's one of your kids to touch base, and all of a sudden you're even more stressed. And you have less tolerance to even deal with them or anything else in your life because you've already started stressed out. So that's my first thing is don't call. Don't talk to people on your way back and forth. I know for some people it really works, but for me, more often than not, it doesn't always turn out well. Another recommendation that I have is listening to a podcast on mindset or a book on tape, especially if you have longer commutes. That's great. Even with a short 15-minute commute, you can get on a quick 15-minute podcast and talk, learn about decreasing your anxiety or focusing for the day, setting your mindset. All really important things to either do entering into our day or also when we are headed home and then we need to recenter ourselves, right, to go back into home life because our home life is very different than our work life. And, one thing that really could help also is that you figure out how to sneak in a 15-minute walk or a 15-minute break before you actually go into the house. Even if it's just kind of sitting in your car debriefing because you have a 5-minute ride and, you don't luck out with a longer one, take those 15 minutes. Take some time to debrief and center yourself before you walk in, because myself as a therapist working in schools, I definitely need that transition time. I need to leave work at work, and that's what I recommend everybody else does also is leave working at work. To go along with that transition, the other thing that I would recommend is leaving your work at work, right? Trying to stay a little later at work to catch up, to do some grading, to clean up and whatnot, instead of coming home, then retaking out the computer and then retrying to plan for your next day or catch up on what's happened today. Because that just everything just kind of gets combined and squished. And when you're home in the back of your mind, it's still there of I still need to go grade those papers or I still need to look at this email. And there's really no separation. If you're somebody that has to do work at home, definitely find time to separate from that. Maybe you have a time that you start working at. So, you are able to be with your dogs, with your family, by yourself and doing whatever, knowing that, okay, that's not really hanging over my head, I'll just plan to start that at 7. So between 5 and 7, when I'm home, it's time to cook dinner, time to spend time with the kids, whatnot. So I think the more difficult thing that we have faced during this pandemic is working from home. And when we're working from home, how do we separate working from home from work, right? I definitely experienced that this past year. And hopefully we don't go into that this year, but who knows? And Mallory and I are going to be here no matter what, whether or not we are working from home this year, whether or not we luck out and get to work from work and see all the students all here. We're going to be here to help figure out how to navigate that with you, how to find a balance in life and manage all these, even though you had last year, it's still all new. Everything is all new now. So, if you're working from home, one thing I recommend is that you put all of your things away. So, even if you have to work at your kitchen table, let's say everything goes away, your laptop goes away, your papers go away, so you don't see anything. And that's a real clear separation between work and home. The other thing I recommend if you are working from home is getting out and taking that 10-minute break. Get outside, get some fresh air, whether it's over lunch, whether it's right after work. Sometimes all I have time for is just to walk down the driveway and get the mail. But that's 5 minutes outside that I wouldn't have normally had. And if I was working in the school, all of those breaks are automatically worked in. So when we're working from home, we really need to work our own breaks in and really monitor our our boundaries and not letting work just kind of run into home and vice versa and everything is completely tangled because then you don't have a break at all. So as we go into the school year, those are a few things I recommend to start to help with your transitions. So, it's trying to avoid having stressful conversations, touching base, things that don't really need to be done in the car, um, listening to a podcast, listening to some music, some really good music at the end of the day. We're like, get it all out. Uh, and then there's taking a few minutes for yourself. Take a quick walk, just get outside and enjoy some fresh air because that will, definitely help reset yourself. And then working from home, make sure you put that work away. Don't leave it out. Okay. Set some boundaries because as we enter into another school year, being in a pandemic, we already know what's going to be kind of expected of us and all the more that's going to be expected of us. And we really need to take care of ourselves and start taking care of ourselves at the beginning of the school year and setting in um, these routines from day one and not waiting until day 15, day 50 when I am just a hot mess and forgot all my coping skills. Okay. So I hope you all have a great week. I hope that as school continues to start in the next 3 weeks or so, that um, you all have some great transitions in. Mallory and I are very excited to be working with you all this school year. You need anything, as always, just reach out and we're more than happy to chat with you or to tailor some of the things we talk about to what you specifically want to hear about. Okay. Um, Happy Wednesday.